Have you ever stopped to think about how many things we worry about every day? Bills to pay, work problems, personal challenges. And how much time do we spend agonizing over past events or being anxious about the future? It's an undeniable truth, life can be a roller coaster of emotions, tossing us from side to side. But what if I told you there's an ancient philosophy that can teach us to live more balanced and serene lives? It's the philosophy of Marcus Aurelius, one of history's great Stoics. Today, in this video, we'll delve into the mind of this wise Roman emperor and discover how he teaches us to, when life hurts, care less. Get ready for a story of self-discovery and transformation. After all, we can all learn to focus on what truly matters to lead a fuller and more serene life. Once the most powerful man in the world, known as Marcus Aurelius, attempted to live virtuously by following historical principles. Unlike many Roman emperors, he refrained from indulging in the many pleasures to which he had access, such as getting drunk on wine and watching sadistic games in the Colosseum. Marcus Aurelius desired to fulfill the task that fortune had given him, which was to serve humanity. Thus, he deeply cared about fulfilling his purpose, but to do so, he needed to care less about things that are not worthy or wise concerns. And these things are many. One of the essential concepts in Stoicism is the division between things we control and things we do not control, as so clearly explained by Epictetus. Most, if not all, things, apart from our own actions, are not under our control. This means we must renounce the world, not necessarily, but the Stoics believed we should be realistic about our limited influence over these matters. In doing so, we create unnecessary burdens for ourselves if we do not. When life becomes painful, it often indicates that we have invested our emotions in matters beyond our control. In doing so, we inadvertently grant these issues the authority to manipulate and control us like marionettes. Paradoxically, then, we point fingers at these manipulators for pulling our strings without realizing that we've given them the power to do so. However, by detaching our emotional investment from these matters, we strip them of their influence over us, granting us serenity to remain composed. For Marcus Aurelius, not being disturbed by things beyond his control allowed him to deal with the many responsibilities and challenges he faced as an emperor. He could then focus on the task he believed he had received from the gods. To Epictetus, this meant freedom from external forces affecting us. For some, it could be a way to focus on goals that genuinely matter, or simply a path to a happy and worry-free life. When life hurts, what should we stop caring about, and how do we do that? In his meditations, Marcus Aurelius consistently distinguishes between the present, the past, and the future. Within each of these categories, the ancient Roman emperor offers valuable insights into our tendencies to invest excessive worry in them, approach them in misguided ways, or focus on inappropriate aspects to enhance clarity and organization. This video is structured around these categories, starting with the future. As Seneca once said, we suffer more in imagination than in reality, implying that our thoughts are the source of our suffering. When it comes to the future, our imagination often runs wild, inventing countless scenarios of what might happen but probably never will. In advance, we think of ways to handle potential outcomes while trembling at the idea of not knowing how the future will unfold. In some cases, what happens is what we anticipated, but in many others, fortune surprises us, burdening us with events we couldn't have foreseen. Consider this scenario. We may have dedicated years to meticulously planning and saving for a well-deserved retirement, only to be confronted as we approach our golden years with a devastating cancer diagnosis that grants us only a few months of life. The mere possibility of such events often plunges people into incessant anxiety. The spectrum of potential outcomes varies from best-case scenarios to worst-case scenarios, like the eruption of a catastrophic Third World War or suffering a complete financial loss. These severe consequences are undeniably within the realm of possibility, but while they are not happening in the present, we cannot deal with them because these events merely exist in our thoughts. The future only troubles us because we think about it. Since it doesn't exist outside of the mind, Marcus Aurelius wrote that it's not the weight of the future pressing down on us, but the present alone. It's not the future hurting us, but how we deal with it in the present. The misery of the future happens in the present, and ironically, it's not the future unfolding in the present, for when we encounter it, it's already present. The misery of the future is worrying about it now. When we care too much about future events, life eventually begins to hurt as we suffer them in our imagination, allowing them to dictate our present. So, what does Marcus Aurelius say about caring too much about the future? First, consider the following quote: "Never let the future disturb you. You will meet it, if you have to, with the same weapons of reason which today arm you against the present." He emphasized the notion that if he could effectively navigate the present, he had the ability to face future challenges as well. He advised not dwelling on all the terrible potential scenarios that could unfold, encouraging, instead, to focus on the immediate circumstances at hand. When he concentrated on the present, he found that he could endure, and if that was the case, why wouldn't he be able to handle what lay ahead? This attitude is akin to the concept of a more fatty, loving one's fate but fortified with the confidence that we will be able to overcome it. Regarding the category of the past, Marcus Aurelius reminded himself of how existence passes swiftly and disappears into the infinite beyond our reach. The past, like the future, is a realm in which we cannot operate. What has passed has already passed, and unless we invent a time machine, we cannot change anything about it. Marcus Aurelius stated, "Remember that man lives only in the present, in this fleeting instant, all the rest of his life is either past and gone, or not yet revealed." Despite the narrowness of our lives, which occur only in the present moment, we often focus excessively on what lies beyond it and cannot be reached, the future and the past. Marcus Aurelius argued that the past means virtually nothing and is presently indifferent. It's not that events that occurred in the past don't influence the present or that we can't learn from them. It's just that we can't work with the past because it's beyond our reach. Often, our memories of the past are muddled, and ways to verify what exactly happened are limited. We rely on recollections from personal perspectives and different viewpoints, either our own or others. Therefore, the past is not only out of reach but our memory of it is likely to be imprecise. Nevertheless, we persist in our emotional attachment to past events, often reliving them in our thoughts and thus reliving the anguish they once caused us. Some people utter phrases like, "I wish I had handled that differently," but these desires are based on the unattainable. These thoughts only serve to kindle desires that can never be fulfilled, offering no productive gain. Instead of focusing on past events themselves, Marcus Aurelius emphasized the importance of how we react to them. We cannot control past events, and we probably could not have prevented them when they occurred in the present. However, we can control how we position ourselves in relation to these past events. Initially, we may consider the past as unfortunate. We may have had difficult childhoods or experienced the end of friendships or failures in business ventures. However, according to Marcus Aurelius, the nature of these past events isn't as important as how we deal with them. He stated, "It is not because things are difficult that we do not dare, it is because we do not dare that they are difficult." Marcus Aurelius recognized that it's lamentable that these things happened, but it's not unfortunate that he experienced them. From these experiences, he learned lessons, transforming hardship into valuable experiences that contributed to his growth. He added that the future is influenced by the past, as in hindsight, we can see how things have shaped up to the present, often in a way that is beneficial to us. He expressed that some circumstances are terrible if experienced, but wonderful to have experienced, for they led us to who we are today. In summary, Marcus Aurelius instructs us to focus on what is within our control, to live in the present, and not to be disturbed by things that lie beyond our grasp. Stoicism provides a guide to finding serenity by accepting what we cannot change and directing our energies towards what truly matters. With these principles, we can pursue a virtuous and meaningful life, much like the one Marcus Aurelius endeavored to live. And so, dear viewer, the story of Lucius and his journey of transformation in the light of Stoic philosophy teaches us an invaluable lesson. Often, we worry excessively about the past and the future while neglecting the present, the only real domain over which we have control. The philosophy of Marcus Aurelius reminds us that, for a healthier and more balanced life, we need to care less about things beyond our control and more about our actions and choices in the present moment. So, why not start today to practice detachment, to live in the present with serenity, and to concentrate your energy on what truly matters? Follow Marcus Aurelius's example and let Stoic philosophy light your path. And to continue learning and exploring the best stories of Stoicism, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, Millennial Wisdom. We're here to help you find meaning and serenity on your journey. Until the next video.